Welcome to Solomoriah Speaks, Episode 11, The Basic Fantasy Project. No one should be surprised that I've talked about Basic Fantasy role-playing game many times on this channel. It's my baby. But today I'm going to talk about the Basic Fantasy Project, which is the informal name that I use to describe the community that's grown up around Basic Fantasy RPG, starting basically the day I released it on Dragon's Foot back in 2006. Many people have contributed to the game. Many people have joined the effort and have provided text or art, have done editing or proofing, have done other things to assist with the project along the way. If you just look at the title page of the core rules and take a look at the long list of contributors and proofers and so forth who have assisted with getting the game to its current state, I'm amazed and humbled at the outpouring of help that I received with this game over the years. People sometimes ask me why I don't sell Basic Fantasy RPG at a significant profit, and actually try to make some money off of it. The short answer is, it's not entirely mine. Yes, I'm the author of the rules. I'm the person that wrote a majority of the new text in the book. Many people contributed something. Some people contributed significantly. One person wrote the Stronghold section, and that's I probably wouldn't even had a Stronghold section if it hadn't been for that particular person. Nick Bogan is his name. He's in the credits with everybody else that's in there, and I don't mean by calling his name out to put him above anybody else. Hosts of people have contributed in one way or another during the development of this project. But it's important to understand, number one, I'd have to figure out how to pay those people. If I made a profit, I'd have to share. It wouldn't be right to just take their stuff and not give them anything for it. But that's not even the reason. That's not even the reason why we share this. We share this game because it was a community effort, because it's a community project, because it is a thing that we enjoy. I have a day job. I have a job that pays my bills. I don't need to try to make money off Basic Fantasy RPG. And quite honestly, I know better than to think that any RPG project can support anybody. If you're not a wizard who lives on a coast, I'm not really sure how you make a substantial profit selling RPG products. I suppose other people might do it, but that's the point. For me, I knew there was no way that this would ever become something that could support me and my wife, could be anything more than a side hustle. And I didn't want it to be that. If you make your labor of love into a product that you sell, then you begin to value it in dollars. You begin to think of it in terms of the money that it's worth, or the value that it has in terms of cash. I'm not interested in that. Like I said, I have a day job. I don't need it. And I don't want that. I don't want to be valuing the game in cash. So, for whatever it's worth, that's my opinion on the matter. And then, of course, there's the joke I frequently tell, often at convention appearances. Hopefully we can do those again someday soon. That I wrote Basic Fantasy RPG and gave it away for free so other people would write adventures for me. And for the new group that I have, online group that I've been running games for the last few years, the people that you will have heard, if you've watched the Basic Fantasy RPG Actual Play Royal Catacomb of Adri series that I've posted on this channel, you'd be familiar with that group. The adventures that they have participated in, some were written by me, some were written by other people. Most are either in print or planned to be in print as part of the Basic Fantasy Project, part of our body of work. It's certainly my intent that almost everything those players have played through, if it's not already in print, will be. And I do occasionally. I create adventures occasionally. The Royal Catacomb of Adri is a good example of that. And they're dealing with an orc lair right now that I just kind of threw together on the spur of the moment as a little time filler, space filler for the current adventure series, because I'm not actually exactly sure where I want to send them next, what kind of hooks I want to offer them. So I gave them a lair full of orcs to deal with. And it may turn into something interesting too. Everything that they do seems to turn into something interesting. But that's a lot of my motivation. It really is. I benefit. I benefit from giving this away. I benefit because people, having received it, feel like they should contribute also. And that's the thing I really want to talk about. Not so much the motivations, although I'm hoping now that I've answered the question for people, I can just direct them to this video if they ask me why I'm not making a profit on this. But what I want to talk about is how to contribute, how to participate. I often get this question. In fact, I had an email just a week ago from a fellow who contacted me and said he had written an adventure and he wanted to know about how to get it published as part of the Basic Fantasy Project. The very first step, the first thing you must do, you must join our forum. I'm sorry, some people don't like forums, but forums have a memory and an organization to them that makes them better than any of the other options for organizing projects. Projects organized on Facebook would just evaporate. The moment no one was looking at them, no one would know where they'd gone. Yeah, they'd still be there. You'd have to dig for them, but they wouldn't be cataloged in a way that people could readily find. So this is an important thing. The same thing for any social media. I'm not just singling out Facebook. No social media is oriented towards keeping track of the past in a form that would be convenient for us to use. And then the last thing is I'm actually in control of the website. The forum is my software, not software that I wrote, but software that I installed and control. Everything's hosted on a server that I have control over so that I can easily deal with any issues. It would be much trickier if I had them stuck in Google Docs somewhere. And Google Docs don't handle the formatting, the complex formatting very well that we use in a lot of our books. So there you go. First thing you have to do, you have to join the forum. Now, how you choose to contribute determines what you need to do next. If you are wanting to join the project rather and be an editor, be a proofreader, Lord, we'd love to have you. I've got 2 fantastic proofreaders right now, plus a handful of others. Well, actually, I have 3 right now. But still, the more the merrier. 3 fantastic proofreaders right now who are digging through our various works and commenting on and correcting grammatical and spelling errors, rules issues, balance issues, and so forth with some of our products. This is fantastic. I need this kind of stuff. If you're doing that, and you can read a PDF on your computer, join the forum and you're in. Go through the PDF, find the errors, call out the page numbers and paragraphs and so forth. Tell us what you see that's wrong or that looks wrong to you. You just post it in the thread. Every product we have has a thread on the forum. Go there and post what you've got to say. Let us know. If you want to contribute artwork, you should read the introductory, the announcement posts at the top of the artwork subforum before you start contributing artwork. They tell you what the rights are that you're granting us and so forth. Tells you what formats we can use and sizes that we need in order to be able to use them in our books. It's important to follow along with those things if you want to contribute artwork. If you want to contribute text, if you want to write adventures or supplements or whatever, write whatever you want to write. We use LibreOffice. And you could also use openoffice.org, but you need something that makes a quality, reliable ODT format. There is an adventure template. There is a supplement template, I think, if you look through the relevant parts of the workshop. You can download the adventure template and start from there. There are instructions in the template telling you how to use the various styles and, just basically how to do the layout. If you are creating an adventure and you have hand-drawn maps, you can scan them. That's fine. If you like to produce maps using our software, you go to Mapmatic site, go to the Tools page on basicfantasy.org, click on Tools, and then click on Mapmatic Plus 2. That's the graphic online version. The interface is a little quirky, but there's a thread in the forum that kind of explains it. And once you understand it, Mapmatic is really pretty good at doing dungeon layouts. and it does them in a style that we can use and at a resolution that works well for printing purposes. So this is something that that we prefer you do. The third option is for an adventure that you're publishing with us, share whatever you've got. We have map makers. We have artists who specialize in map making, who can take a map that you have that you may consider kind of crummy or whatever. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the quality of your map. As long as we can read it, as long as we can read your scan, we can get it fixed, either through Mapmatic or through one of our map drawing artists. So this is not a big deal. As far as the adventure text goes, follow the template. Create a thread in the workshop forum for whatever you're sharing, whether it's an adventure or a supplement or whatever. Always post whatever item you're sharing as an attachment to the very first post in the thread. If you do an update or anyone else does an update, it needs to be shared there. Moderators and me, the admin, if we do an update on your document, we'll just go ahead and replace the one in the first post with our new version. We use an R number system. Everything we share has a dash R and a number at the end of it, except for translations, which have a dash R and a number, a dash, language indication, a language code, typically 2 or 3 characters. We try to use 2-character codes because they're an international standard, but some of the stuff still has 3-letter codes, and a number indicating the translation revision number. Don't worry about that if you're not doing translations. For whatever you're sharing with us in English, dash R and a number. The rule is simple. There should never be more than one publicly available copy of whatever you're sharing, adventure, supplement, or whatever, with the same number and different contents. If you change the contents, you need to change the number. The number will appear inside the document on the title page or at the top of a supplement, as well as in the file name. Please remember to update both of them. I have a hard time with that sometimes, but somebody usually straightens me out. But you always want to update the number in the file name whenever you make changes. If you're going to upload a new copy, it should have a different R number than the one that's already there. We even occasionally skip R numbers if we pass files around between ourselves as members of the project. If you become a member of the project, all you have to do is share something. That is all you have to do. Share something we can legitimately publish. And you're a member. Congratulations, your dues are paid. It's easy. Or, as I say, do some proofing. Make one post that corrects something in a book. We will put your name in the list of proofreaders or editors, depending on how the credits are written for that particular product. But we'll put your name in the list because you are now a member of the project. Congratulations. Project members who have anything published or anything on track to be published are eligible for a showcase account, allowing you to share stuff in the showcase. Now, we have a downloads page where all the stuff that is considered official, see my air quotes, official, is shared there. The showcase is for quality, complete items. They don't have to be finished in the sense they don't have to be perfectly edited, they don't have to be perfectly laid out or anything, but all the stuff that a game master would need to have to use the product has to be in the product. It has to all be in there. If you have a completed item that you want to share in the showcase, share it in the workshop. If it's an adventure, we're probably just going to put it right on track to go into one of our books, either a book of its own, if it's long, 40 pages. If your adventure is shorter than 40 pages, we will gang it with another adventure or another set of adventures to become part of one of our adventure anthology series modules. If your adventure is longer than 40 pages, or if it's that you have several adventures that go together that together are more than 40 pages, it will go into track to be printed by itself as a separate book. The reason is simply economic. It doesn't make sense for the customer, for the people buying these books, to buy little skinny books because they're paying almost as much as a big fat book. In many cases, the overhead cost is fixed. So we really prefer to have longer works. We like to have 80 to 100 page adventure anthology type books or collected books like that. If you are an author, an artist, or whatever, and you want to create stuff for us, the main thing to do is don't worry about asking someone to help. You don't have to ask for help. You never have to ask for help with us. You may occasionally need to mention if you need help with something and we can't see that. So that's fine. Tell us what you think is incomplete. Tell us what you think you need to work on. But you don't have to come and ask for help. Share what you've got. People will jump on it. I'll point out that one of our proofers mostly works weekdays. One of our proofers mostly works weekends, and I haven't got a clue what the schedule for the third regular proofer is right now. I actually haven't paid enough attention just now to notice exactly what schedule he's working on, but it just kind of depends on who takes a look at it first. If you send us an adventure and it's not in our standard format, someone will probably hammer it into standard format pretty quick. If your book needs format adjustments, corrections, we'll do that for you. If it needs proofreading, we're going to proofread it anyway. Don't worry about that. If your maps need help, we'll discuss what needs to be done, and depending on if we have an artist available at the time or if we just need to go to Mathematic, we'll do that. Anything like that. If you have questions about how something should work, ask and we'll help you. Ask in your workshop thread so that it becomes part of the history of that document, and we'll remember when we go back and look at it, that's why it was done that way. All you have to do to get help with something that you want to share is share the incomplete thing. This is a rule of sorts for open source projects. Share early, share often. That means give us the first version of your adventure that you think shows it properly, demonstrates where you're going or whatever, and we'll start in on it right away. We will absolutely start working with you right away. Share often. Whenever you want to make changes and share them right away. Don't hang on to them and sit on them for a while. Get them out there so we can see what you've done, and that may spark other people's imagination and could help you. Trust the process. Trust the community. The community will take care of getting things sorted, getting things done right, helping you to understand how to do things right, and helping to get your documents in shape. It's worked for me for years. It'll work for you too. This is why I say the community is so important. The community is essential to the basic fantasy RPG, to all of the books that we've got in print, to all of the books that we're sharing, all the works we're sharing that are not in print, some of which may never be printed, many of which will eventually find their way into books or become books of their own. Without the community, none of this would exist. Without the community, there wouldn't be much at all. And I can say that with absolute honesty. I know that there would not be a Basic Fantasy RPG in the form you see it now without the Basic Fantasy project, without the Basic Fantasy community to do it. Join us. Love to have you. Love to have you help out. Love to have you jump in and share what you've got. Show us your stuff. We'll discuss with you, what can be done, what can be put together, what we can get published. I look forward to it. But I want to thank everybody who's participated, everyone who's become a part of the project over the years. Y'all are fantastic. And I don't know where I'd be without you. I know Basic Fantasy RPG would not exist in its current form without all of you. So thank you.